Marketing executives and entertainment figures are gathering in Cannes this week for the annual Cannes Lions Festival. This year, industry figures are highlighting the human element and creativity in advertising as the sector faces pressure from AI. Well, you can see she's parked her boat, she's on the quay, and she's got a guest with her now. Tania Bryer joins us now.
Steve, thank you so much. Yes, I wish I could say it's my boat. It's actually my guest boat, Gary Vaynerchuk. Thank you so much for having me on your boat here this morning, Gary. Of course, AI is a big theme, how it's disrupting the advertising landscape. Are marketers fearful, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think humans are fearful. You know, when new technology comes along, we're scared. When electricity was invented, people said that there were demons in it, and most people didn't put it in their home yet. And all the modern technology, social networks, computers, cell phones, people were comfortable with their BlackBerry before the iPhone. And so, yeah, I think there's reservations. Obviously, an advertising industry like at Cannes is not as deeply technically sound as, let's say, Silicon Valley. So there's a lot of misunderstanding. And look, it's also a massive technology where there's still lots to figure out. So yeah, I think fear is probably 90% of it, and then the 10% that are optimistic and on the offense, they tend to be the ones that win.
What are your concerns?
My concerns is that it gets over-regulated, you know, out of this fear. It is a big technology, and so I don't think that it shouldn't, per se, but I'm worried that we jump the gun. But honestly, in general, I'm an optimistic, practical entrepreneur, and so I think we demonize a lot of things. I mean, we banned alcohol in America for a period of time because we were scared of it. Then we understood how to harness it. I think there's a lot of fear-mongering around technology in today's society. But I think when we look back at this clip of this video of us in 10 years, we'll realize, like everything else, there was an incredible amount of great things that came along with AI, advancements, us being faster and more efficient, allowing us to focus on important things. And I'm sure there'll be things that are concerning, just like any big technology.
Do you think in 10 years' time, Gary, it'll be you and I, but it'll be our avatars, not us?
You know, look, I do think artificial intelligence influencers are going to be a big sector. Do I think that VR is coming? Yes, at some point. So, yeah, I think maybe, but I think we'll also be in charge of that. Whether it's a machine learning model or we'll be behind the scenes pulling the levers. I think things evolve. I mean, I'm sure that cavemen would be freaked out by all the technology we have. And so, you know, the human plight is advancement.
Gary, I want to ask your thoughts about Nvidia, the news that they surpassed Microsoft in market cap to become the most valuable public company in the world, $3.34 trillion. Are you surprised?
You know, I want to be transparent. I'm not overly passionate about current stock prices. Am I surprised? I can't be surprised if I'm not even really overly concerned or paying attention. So it makes sense on the trends. I think we've seen these moments. I think without digging in at a top headline, to me, you know, what's going to be the sustainability of that extreme of a price? What is the competitive landscape? I'm not educated enough to comment to this incredible audience, but I do think it's a sign of the times.
Disinformation, a big focus on social media platforms because of the upcoming elections, the elections that are going on around the world. How damaging do you think it is, and how do we tackle that?
I actually think it's a human accountability issue more than it's a technology issue. I'm just curious when we're all going to start taking accountability for our actions. I mean, there's disinformation everywhere, always, and for the test of time. Long before there was social media, there was dictators in Europe creating world wars around disinformation. You know, I think the bigger concern is the complete and utter lack of accountability by human beings. Facebook did not make you racist. It exposed you. And so I think that we have to completely change the conversation.
Isn't that dangerous, though?
No, I think what's dangerous is not having accountability for when you take in information, you don't have the intellectual capacity to double check it for yourself. I think that there's an incredible amount of misunderstanding of how humans work. Humans find what they're looking for. I think what's dangerous is lack of human accountability.
Gary, of course, you an early investor in Twitter, now X. Elon Musk is speaking here today at the Cannes Lions Festival. Do you think he's here on a charm offensive? Is he trying to win back advertisers?
I'm not sure. I mean, I think at some level, I don't know Elon like that, but I think he probably gets some enjoyment out of coming to the industry. I'm sure he'll razz a little bit. Tends to be how he sees it. And I get it. I mean, I think the industry is incredibly hypocritical, and so I'm sure he is trying to win back some revenue. I mean, why wouldn't he? He's running a business. But I'm sure he's getting some enjoyment of the platform as well, because the industry is incredibly interesting.
Well, you've got a new book out, Day Trading Attention, in which you talk about the I knew I wasn't going to pronounce it.
The TikTokification.
TikTokification at this time in the morning of social media, nearly. What do you mean by that?
The social media I grew up with, early investor in Twitter and other platforms, it was more like email marketing. You and I, CNBC, every brand that's here, you would try to amass as many followers as you could, and then you would post, and a percentage of them would see it. Now we live in a world of social media over the last 2-3 years, 5 years, where the AI algorithms that give you the For You page, the content is finding the audience. So I've spent 15 years amassing tens of millions of followers, and yet somebody walking down the Crescent today who's never posted once can make one video, and that could get more views than I can get. And I think that meritocracy around content is empowering, and I think this industry is continuously fascinated on the past, the 30-second commercial, the literally giving awards for print ads, and yet misunderstanding that the ads on social media that now can find reach. For the first time in the history of marketing, you can post something, not have any money paid to amplify it, and have millions of people see it. That is profound.
VaynerMedia going into India, good growth market for you?
Yeah, it's incredible. We're only a 14-year company, and obviously we had a lot of success in the US, and over the last 7 years, Europe's been huge. LATAM and APAC have been huge expansions, and we just announced India. We're getting dangerously close to being global. Middle East and Africa is on the remit, and so it's going to be a fun decade for us competing at a global scale.
Just finally and quickly, Gary, your message here to all the marketers here at Cannes Lions for this year.
Brand is built in social, and it's time to actually respect the art and the craft and the ads within that medium. And the longer you wait and you don't, the more likely startup brands are going to take your market share.
Gary Vaynerchuk, thank you so much for joining me here at Cannes Lions. That's all from me at Cannes Lions for now. Back to you in London.
Terrific interview. Thank you so much for that, Tania.